Chiefs fan. You are a Chiefs fan. Would you want Juju back? Because let's just be honest. If you bring back Juju, you gotta let somebody go. Whether it be Hollywood Brown, Rashid Rice, Xavier Worthy, I don't know, Jay Pacheco, Clyde. You gotta let somebody go. You can't just stack the roster, right? Got Matt Henry in the chat being a top fan. What's up, Matt? Matt, I think I saw you in the old Ken and Ken in the morning this afternoon here. Ken and Ken put on a pretty good show. I'd like to go over there and talk some shit. He says, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, you too. Well, Matt, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. And Casey wants to already start the CeeDee Lamb rumors. Casey already wants to jump into the talk of CeeDee Lamb. Let's talk to it. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about my man CeeDee Lamb. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about Jerry Jones. Guys, Jerry Jones had a microphone shoved in his face, just like this. I got an extra microphone right here. Jerry. Yeah, guys. Yeah. Do you guys have urgency of signing CeeDee Lamb? We don't really have urgency. I went to high school. I went to college. So we don't have no urgency to signing CeeDee. That's exactly how that press conference went. And then, of course, CeeDee Lamb follows up with the LOL tweet. I'm sure you guys have seen it all over social media. I put it up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/man hour. I put that up there. And so the rumors started flying, right? The rumors started flying that, hey, CeeDee Lamb isn't going to be a part of the Dallas Cowboys anymore. CeeDee Lamb is going to be gone in Dallas. No longer CeeDee, buy CeeDee, right? I mean, we've seen Justin Jefferson got paid, right? He was very adamant about getting paid. He's like, I want to get paid. I'm not standing on the field until I get paid. I want my dollar bills, yo. Now we see Brandon Aiyuk kind of forcing his way out of San Francisco because he wants to get paid. But CeeDee Lamb is kind of out on the sideline saying, hey, you guys figure yourselves out. I want some money. Let's get paid. He's obviously holding out. He's working out in Houston right now while the Dallas Cowboys are in California, somewhere getting their preseason work in. So when we look at CeeDee Lamb moving forward, we have to ask the question, first of all, how much money is too much money for CeeDee Lamb? Is it the $30 million? Is it $40 million? Is it $50? Is it $60? Guys, what kind of contract do you think CeeDee Lamb is going to get? And does he get it with the Dallas Cowboys? Because now, rumors are starting to circulate. Rumors are starting to circulate around the NFL landscape of a potential blockbuster trade, of a potential trade of sending CeeDee Lamb to my Kansas City Chiefs. Right there, Chiefs Kingdom. You see the flag? I fly it proud. I got the 2-time Super Bowl championship flag coming in the mail, or back-to-back, I should say. The rumor is that the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys have been in talks of making this trade, linking up Hollywood Brown and CeeDee Lamb in Arrowhead and Kansas City back in the Alabama days. When I saw this trade, this is the trade proposal that has been leaked. Now, take this with a grain of salt, whatever you want to do, but this was posted by FanDuel. This is their verified Twitter account. And they said, imagine, would the Chiefs make this move for CeeDee Lamb? Now, let's just be honest. The rumors have been starting to fly the last 12 hours. I Googled this. I saw 117 articles on Chiefs websites about this. So there's obviously where there's smoke, there's fire. But the Chiefs would receive CeeDee Lamb in a trade. The Cowboys would then receive Rashid Rice, plus a 2025 first-round pick, plus a 2026 first-round pick. So 2 first-round picks and Rashid Rice for CeeDee Lamb to send him to the Kansas City Chiefs. And at first glance, I'm like, that is not going to fly at all. There is no way, shape, or form would the Dallas Cowboys do something like that. But then we see the interview with Jerry Jones. We see the interview with Jerry Jones saying, there's really no rush to get something done. There's really no rush to do this. There's really no rush to do that. Put the microphone and say, I went to high school. I went to college. There's no urgency to get CeeDee Lamb done. Does this mean that CeeDee Lamb has said, F you guys, I'm out the door? Does this mean that the Dallas Cowboys' marriage with the CeeDee Lamb is being broke up before it even got started? Guys, if CeeDee Lamb goes to the Kansas City Chiefs and they pay him $30 million, $25 million, something like that, right? The Justin Jefferson contract, let's say they get that kind of money. The Kansas City Chiefs, I'm not for sure how they can afford it. I'm sure they can figure it out. They can rob Peter to pay Paul, make the whole system work, right? I don't know how the salary cap works. I'm not even going to try to fundamentally try to understand it because it changes, right? People manipulate the numbers all over the board. It seems like every year, like the freaking, the Cleveland Browns, way over the cap, but somehow they always manage to get under the cap by kicking the can down the road. Kansas City Chiefs, I'm sure they're getting ready to do the same thing. Kick the can down the road. Kick the can down the road. But if the Dallas Cowboys make a trade like this, Rashee Rice, 2 first-round picks for CeeDee Lamb, this tells me that the Dallas Cowboys are in complete rebuild mode. If Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Mike McCarthy all signs off on this trade for CeeDee Lamb to the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott will no longer be a Dallas Cowboy. Micah Parsons will be the face of that franchise for many, many years to come. He will get paid. He'll get his dollar bills, But Dak Prescott's gone. CeeDee's gone. Mike McCarthy's probably gone. They're all in 2025 and 2026. Granted, those aren't going to be high first round picks more than likely. You know, they'll be mid 20s, early 30s, right? Maybe they could package that deal and move up and get a quarterback this season. Shadir Sanders, right? Seems to love him. But guys, if you are a Dallas Cowboys fan and or Kansas City Chiefs fan, do you want to see this trade? Do you want to see this trade? Chuck Powell's in the chat. What's up, Chuck? He says the Chiefs' best player is Kelsey. Anyone else is just taking heat off of him. I think their guys are talking about Juju there, right? Casey Morgan says Jerry Jones said they're going big this year. Cowboys fans been poking the team with the team with the stick ever since. Hey, if they're all in, I mean, Jerry Jones said, hey, we're all in. We're all in. We're all in. Are they all in for blowing up the team? Are they all in for being just good enough to get maybe a top 10 pick this season? Are they all in to saying, hey, CeeDee Lamb, you're worth 2 first-round picks. Rashee Rice, come on down. Now, we don't know Rashee Rice's legal troubles right now. He could still be suspended for 4, 5, 6 games still, right? With the whole felony thing that with the renting of the Lamborghinis and racing and leaving a scene of a crash, right? Obviously, Rashee Rice is from that Texas area. I think he went to SMU, right? Why not? But Dallas Cowboys fans have been pretty upset. Let's just be flat honest out. Dallas Cowboys fans have been pretty upset about the lack of offseason moves. Chuck says, free CeeDee and let him go or pay him. What if it is a sign and trade? You know, like, hey, basically the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs are in agreement, right? Hey, we're going to pay CeeDee this much money. We want him to play for us this year, but this offseason, he's all yours. Or maybe even be a 4. Matt Henry says CeeDee is a stud. Someone is going to pay him. Anybody would pay CeeDee Lamb. Let's just be honest. I would even go out on a limb and say the Minnesota Vikings might let go of Justin Jefferson for a chance to bring in CeeDee. I think CeeDee Lamb is that talented of a receiver. I think CeeDee Lamb is a game-changing receiver. You put him on any team, that opens up your team a lot. That makes your team a lot better. Any quarterback situation makes them a hell of a lot better. Jerry Jones says Chuck is always screwing people over. Would it be screwing people over by trading CeeDee Lamb to a potential three-peat Super Bowl championship for Rashee Rice and 2 first-round picks? I don't think that's screwing anybody over. I think that's saying, hey, CeeDee, you want your money? Go get your money. Go get your money, big dog. Go do it. I mean, football is a business at the end of the day, Chuck, right? Football is business. Yes, we enjoy watching the Sunday product. Yes, we enjoy watching the outcome of the business, right? Football is football from September till February, but from February till, August, it's all business. It's no hard feelings. It's all business at the end of the day. If CeeDee wants to get paid and a chance to win the Super Bowl, go to Kansas City. Get out of here. I just thought about this. How big a slap in the face is that to Tyreek Hill, right? Tyreek Hill just wanted us a little bit more money, and then she's like, see ya. Now you're going to give CeeDee Lamb like $35 million a season to come basically take Tyreek Hill's spot? Is that not the ultimate smack in the face? CeeDee equals JJ type of contract. Exactly. Chuck says, didn't pay Smith, who won 3 Super Bowls, and let him sign by the Cardinals. First of all, Emmitt Smith was well past his prime. When he went to Arizona Cardinals. The only reason why he hung on for that long was to break the all-time rushing record, right? That's the only reason why Emmitt Smith went to the Arizona Cardinals. So there is such thing as hanging on for too long, and Emmitt Smith hung on for a little too long. Screw DeMarco Murray as well, who rushed the title this season, got dumped by Bryant. How about this? After DeMarco Murray won that rushing title, what did he do? He went to the Tennessee Titans and pretty much fizzled out. Never heard of him again. I mean, it's all business, Chuck. It's all business, baby. Slow it down. James Frank's in the chat. What's up, James? What's up? My Browns fan right there. He's a Browns fan. He said, wouldn't be surprised if they let Coop go too. I thought Rice was in trouble. So I don't know the whole story of Rashee Rice, right? Obviously, it kind of got swept under the rug. Let's just be honest, right? It was big news basically because there was no news in the NFL. Now, I do know Dallas and Texas in general is very hard about leaving a scene of a crime, whether it be drunk or high or whatever. It is a felony in Texas if you leave a scene of a crash, not a crime, I should say. But as far as letting Coop go too, who are you talking about? Coop. Cooper for the Dallas Cowboys? I don't know who you're talking about, James. I'm trying to pull up the roster here. And are you referring to Cooks? Maybe? Cooks? Oh, Jalen Monroe Cropper. Is that who you're talking about? I don't know anything about this guy, to be honest. Jalen Moore Cropper, I assume that's who you're talking about. I don't know. It says his first season from Fresno State, wide receiver number 16. I haven't watched Dallas Cowboys training camp since we broke him down 2 weeks ago. I'll check him out. Chuck says, who is Prescott going to go through? Gallup gone, Pollard gone, promote Ferguson to wide receiver? No, he's still got Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks has been balling out like crazy this training camp. Also, Tolbert. Tolbert has been kind of that diamond in the rough for the Dallas Cowboys the last couple years. He has been kind of overshadowed by CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks. If you let CeeDee Lamb go and bring in a Rashid Rice, Tolbert could very easily step up into that number 2 role. But I like him at the number 3 role. Still got Turpin, right? Turpin as well, that big old speedster on the outside. Give me some of that money, right? James says that would be crazy receiving core in Kansas City with the rookie Worthy plus Kelsey and CeeDee and Hollywood Brown and Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde's Edward-Helaire. Listen, many people think the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to three-peat. Let's just be honest. The odds are stacked against them, right? They are going to get people's best shot week in and week out. They play 6 different days this season, right? I think the only day they don't play is on a Tuesday. The Kansas City Chiefs have their workout cut for them 100%. But you add CeeDee Lamb to that receiving core with Hollywood Brown, with Travis Kelsey, with Xavier Worthy, with Justin Watson, with Sky Moore. Let's not forget Tooney as well. He's still on the roster for now. Still got McCole Hardman. Just signed him back. Got Justin Ross still, right? He was their speedster last year. If I am a Kansas City's fan, Kansas City Chiefs fan, let's put it out there. If this trade were to happen in the next 36 seconds, I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to go to shopnfl.com and I'm going to get my Kansas City Chiefs CeeDee Lamb jersey. Make it happen. Make it happen. Jerry, Dallas equals greedy snakes, says Chuck. Chuck, every owner in the NFL is greedy. Let's just be honest. Every owner in professional sports is greedy. Every CEO of a company is greedy. I'm greedy. You're greedy. We want to make the most money by putting out the littlest as we can. That's just the way it is. Chuck, first of all, thank you for following here. You've been here for a year. Definitely appreciate you, man. But just to say that Jerry Jones is greedy, a greedy snake, like, come on, man. Like, this is all business. It's all business. Why do you think the San Francisco 49ers are not paying Brandon Aiyuk the money that he wants? Yes, they value him, but they don't value him at $30 million a season. Let's just be honest. We're going to be talking about Aiyuk here very, very shortly. Very, very shortly. Casey says, first of all, Casey's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Casey's a KC's fan. He says, I don't want to see Rice go. I think we have other receivers we could trade to thin out the crowd. So, Casey, obviously, we as Kansas City Chiefs fans are being greedy right now. We would love to have Hollywood Brown, Rashid Rice, CeeDee Lamb with McCole Hardman and Travis Kelsey. That's like a freaking Pro Bowl roster right there. But you have to look on it on the other side of the coin. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys would be getting 2 first-round picks, 25 and 26. They would be low first-round picks, 30, 29, 28, right? At the worst, or at the best, I should say, would be 28. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys would be giving up their number 1 receiver. Their number 1 receiver would be going bye-bye. Wouldn't you want a number 1 receiver in return? Wouldn't you want a top player in return to help you now, right? Because the Dallas Cowboys do have a pretty good roster on the field right now. They have a damn good defense. They got a young nucleus. The offensive line is kind of reamped a little bit. They have a veteran, Dak Prescott. Even without CeeDee Lamb and they bring in a Rashid Rice, they're still going to win the NFC East. Now, if you were to give them like a Justin Ross or a McCole Hardman or Sky Moore, they're not that good then. I think Rashid Rice is a great talent. And I would agree with you. I would hate to see him go, but you get a crystal clean CeeDee Lamb for a slightly blemished Rashid Rice. Give me the crystal clean CeeDee Lamb. The Kansas City Chiefs have history of not wanting to deal with off-the-field issues. Kareem Hunt comes to mind. Punched that girl out. Still think he was in the right. Should have gave her the 1-2, right? A girl spits in my face, night, sucker. But before he could even come into the office, he's like, you're out of here. When the defensive tackle broke a vacuum over his girlfriend, pregnant girlfriend at the time. Get out of here. Granted, he ended up killing himself, rest in peace, like the very next day, but we digress. The Chiefs have a history of not really wanting to keep people that are not squeaky clean around. It's just the way it is. Just the way it is. Chuck says it could have grabbed Henry, but let's bring Zeke back. You dump money. You dumb over money. Dumped over money. What are they even paying Zeke this year? Zeke Elliott contract. I don't even know what Zeke Elliott's contract is this season, to be honest with you. I mean, in years past, he did sign that 6-year, $90 million deal, $50 million guaranteed. Is Zeke Elliott come back to the Cowboys? Give me some contract details. There it is, sporttrack.com. That's usually where I get my contract details. This season, Zeke's only making $2 million. I take that back. $1.25 million for the Dallas Cowboys. Derrick Henry was wanting a $20 or $25 million. Come on now. Come on. And did I see the Zeke training camp video? Yeah, the man got hit in the balls. Give the guy a break. He got hit in the testes. You always got to protect those McNuggets, baby. Carolina says, yeah, CeeDee is a beast. Anyone would be lucky to have him if they pay him what he wants. And let's just be honest. CeeDee has been quiet on the front, right? CeeDee Lamb has been pretty quiet on the front. We don't know really what he's asking. We know he is a top 2, top 3 receiver in the NFL. We know JJ got the highest contract for about 3 weeks, and then insert Tyreek Hill. We know what the market is saying, but we have yet to hear CeeDee Lamb say, I want to be the highest paid. I want this much money. I want this, and this, and this. He's been kind of chill, right? Granted, I hear his agent has been in Paris the last 2 weeks watching the Olympics, but CeeDee is a model citizen. Let's just be honest. He is a model NFL player. Anybody would be great to have him. And pay him the $25, $30, $35 million. Pay the man. He makes you better. He makes you better. Chuck says, what if you worked all week, come payday, your boss gives you the runaround like you're not worth your weight in gold? Okay, Chuck. We are obviously talking about contracts here, right? So CeeDee Lamb is currently under contract. So, Chuck, I hire you to do a job. I pay you, let's just make it easy, $5 an hour, $10 an hour to do a job. You've been doing your job great for 3 or 4 years, right? And then one day, all of a sudden, you walk into the office and say, I want $100 an hour. I'm not going to set foot back in this office till you give me $100 an hour. Well, Chuck, you have another year on your contract still. Well, Chuck, we have a written agreement, signed contract saying that you would do this for $10 an hour for 5 years. You still have another year left. So what are you bellyaching now? Oh, because the market has shifted a little bit? Of course it's going to shift, right? You knew what you were signing for. 5 years, we knew when 5 years was going to come, you might get 30, 40, 50, 60 to $60 an hour. But right now, I hired you at $10 an hour. You were satisfied making $10 an hour, doing good work, doing great work. And now all of a sudden, just because the contract is a year away, you think you have the right to just like, I'm not going to show up to work. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Well, Chuck, I would either fire you, like, okay, you don't want to show up to work. I can probably replace you. I will replace you. Then I don't know, somebody across the street. Say I work at Hardee's. McDonald's is like, hey, I need a cashier. I am willing to give you a cook and then 2 of my future employees for your best man over there. Okay, see ya. I mean, you guys are acting like CeeDee's getting like $100,000 a year. He's getting paid. He will get paid. Slow it down, baby. James Frank says, yeah, they let Amari Cooper go years ago because they let Amari Cooper go because they brought in CeeDee Lamb. They brought in his replacement. Amari Cooper, one of those dollar bills, y'all. Browns are like, I'll take him. Sure, take him. Here's a couple picks for you in return. Cooper for the Browns on the way out was what he means. James says, nah, they let Amari Cooper go for a fifth round pick, basically. They don't pay nobody. But they do pay people. Amari Cooper got a 5-year, $100 million deal for the Dallas Cowboys before they traded him to the Cleveland Browns. You guys act like Amari Cooper was just getting pennies on the dollar. He was getting paid. Like at the time, I think he was the highest paid receiver. Gee, come on, y'all. Chiefs lose to the Lions first game of the season because no Kelsey. You are also correct. Kelsey was injured that game. Did he miss that game? Because he hurt his ankle during training camp. I thought he played week 1. Maybe he didn't. No, the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Detroit Lions week 1 last season, 380 days ago, whatever the hell it was, 40 days, I'm going the wrong way, is it because the Chiefs were just not ready to play that game. The Lions were hyped up all year long, Chuck. The Lions were ready to smack the Super Bowl champs in the mouth. Let's just be honest. It happens. It happens. Chuck says the Cowboys defense restructure just lost 55 replacement the practice squad linebacker. He played for the Chiefs a little bit. Oh. So this is CeeDee's rookie contract still, or did they give him a different one at some point? This is still his rookie contract. He has 1 year left on his deal. So this is his rookie contract. They, exercised the 5th year option. Technically, they still have rights to him for 2 more years. They can franchise tag him for the next 2 seasons. If CeeDee wants to play hardball, we can do that. We will franchise tag you, and you can make the $23 million whatever the franchise tag is. James says, yeah, you are right. We're still paying that. Am I wrong? I'm not for sure what you're talking about. The Tubes in the chat. He says, yeah, but the inflation, that $100 million is like $50 million purchase power. So it's pennies. You guys are talking about shit that happened 5 years ago. 5 years ago, $100 million was a big thing in the NFL. 5-6 years ago, $100 million deal in the NFL was a big deal. I was actually a producer of a show, and I was filling in for a co-host one time because he was on vacation or maternity leave or something. I can't really remember of why he was gone, but I filled into the show, and we were talking about $100 million contracts, and I was doing research at heavy research during the show, and at that time, every player that got paid the $100 million salary, their team became a losing team. The first of it was like Matthew Stafford, right? Got that $100 million. The next year, the Detroit Lions sucked ass as they couldn't pay anybody. So I understand inflation and purchasing power and pennies on the dollar, whatever, but back then, $100 million is still a lot of money. Hell, even now, $100 million is still a lot of money. Now the purchasing power is rapidly depleting. Yeah, money was big back then. Pay to lose. That's basically what the $100 million contract was. Every quarterback that got the 4-year, $100 million deal, the next 3 seasons, their team sucks. Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. Matthew Stafford, right? Jared Goff got the $100 million deal. You basically paid to lose. That's basically what it comes down to. And Casey might be spot on here. Players got lazy after getting that dime back. They did. But let's talk about Brandon Aiyuk. Let's talk about potentially getting paid and getting lazy. No, I'm kidding. Brandon Aiyuk, guys, officially asked for a trade from the San Francisco 49ers earlier this offseason. I believe it was back in June when he officially came out and said, I want to be traded. There were several teams that come out of the blocks saying, hey, we want the guy. A couple of them were the Cleveland Browns, the New England Patriots, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brandon Aiyuk turned down the New England Patriots, said, I really don't want to go there. And so now the Pittsburgh Steelers now have this verbal offer on the table. Rumors have it that they have the 49ers and the Steelers have verbally agreed to a trade, and the deals are on the table and good to go. Now, I have been digging all over to try to find what this offer is. I have dug in through hundreds and hundreds of articles. I have reached out to a couple of my insider friends for the 49ers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. A couple of them are former players and scouts. One person got back to me. One person said, I heard, so this is a hearing of a hearing, that the Pittsburgh Steelers offered 2 first-round picks for Brandon Aiyuk. So 2 potential first-round picks for Brandon Aiyuk from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the San Francisco 49ers. The holdup that I am hearing is that the San Francisco 49ers want somebody to replace Aiyuk this season. So basically, they want draft picks plus a player. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers want to add to their already receiving core. They don't want to give up anybody from the receiving core because the receiving core is kind of thin right now as is. Right? Yes, they do have George Pickens. Yes, they do have Calvin Austin III and Van Jefferson. But beyond that, they really don't have a lot. So that's why they're reaching out to get Brandon Aiyuk to basically replace the Deontay Johnson, which I believe he's in Carolina now, right? So with all this being said, there is now potential talks of adding a third team into the mix, making a 3-way trade, meaning Brandon Aiyuk would go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers would then send their draft picks to a different team, and that different team would then send the receiver to the San Francisco 49ers. This is very, very rare in the NFL. Happens in Major League Baseball all the time, but very, very rare in the NFL. I believe the last 5-6 years that I've really been following trades, I have never seen it happen. The team that is being called out a lot are the Las Vegas Raiders and Devontae Adams. So guys, the trade offer that I'm hearing right now coming out of Pittsburgh Steelers from my 49ers insider is Brandon Aiyuk to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers will then send 2 first-round draft picks to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, in return, send Devontae Adams to the San Francisco 49ers. So let's put on our fandom hat here. Okay? Let's put our fandom hat here. Fan of the 49ers, the Steelers, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Pittsburgh Steelers. Talk to you guys first. Are you guys okay with sending 2 first-round picks to whatever team for Brandon Aiyuk? Is he worth 2 first-round draft picks? Me personally, I think Brandon Aiyuk is just as good as Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb. Granted, the offense that he is in doesn't really exploit his stat numbers, right? But you put him on a team that is a, quote, high-flying offense, which won't be the Steelers. He is definitely a top 10 receiver in the NFL. If I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, right off the bat, I'm thinking, 2 first-round picks for Brandon Aiyuk? I mean, yes, we do have a Super Bowl caliber team right now. We do have a great defense. We do have a damn good offense. Our weakest point right now is our receiving core. Still got a pretty good receiving core, but we at Aiyuk. Does that get us over the hump? Does that get us to the Super Bowl? And I would say yes. Adding Brandon Aiyuk to the Pittsburgh Steelers does get them over the hump this season, get them to a Super Bowl. I truly think that. So the question is, does two first-round draft picks, 2025 and 2026, worth a Super Bowl win? Potentially only one. That's the question the Pittsburgh Steelers fans have to ask right now. Is it worth it? To me, personally, it is definitely 100% worth it. 100% worth it. So yes, make that offer. Now, put on the Las Vegas Raiders fandom hat here. Las Vegas Raiders, you guys are on cloud 9 right now. You guys are saying AP is our guy. AP is the future. AP is the best coach ever. We're going to go to the playoffs. We're going to win a lot of games. Our defense is top 10. Our offense is, we have a top 10 defense. The biggest question in Las Vegas right now is their offense. But let's just be honest. We don't know who the quarterback is. The running back, Jameer White, kind of unknown, should have a pretty decent year. Receiving core is kind of like Davante Adams, then who else? Oh, but we got Brock Bowers. So when we look at the Las Vegas Raiders, you guys, most of the fans think that this year you're going to win the AFC West. This year you're going to go to the playoffs. This year you could potentially win a Super Bowl. I think that's all very, very far-fetched. You guys are building the right direction. You guys are going in the right direction, but this year is a little unrealistic. Next year, year after that, maybe. So when I say next year and the year beyond, you add 2 first-round picks to those next year's drafts. Okay. Now we might be cooking a little bit. Now we might be going up and up and up. Wow. Excuse me about that. But the question is, do you want to lose Davante Adams? To me, watching the receiver show, listening to other podcasts about the Las Vegas Raiders, reading articles about the Las Vegas Raiders, Davante Adams doesn't want to be in Las Vegas anymore. Davante Adams wants to go play with a Super Bowl contending team. He wants to win a ring. He wants to go play with Aaron Rodgers, but Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers could be okay. Now, Davante Adams does have a no-trade clause in his contract. He can be like, I don't want to go. This could blow the whole thing up. But if I'm Davante Adams and I have an opportunity to go to San Francisco 49ers and be in a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, sign me up. So as a Las Vegas Raiders fan, if I was a fan, it would hurt. It would suck. But I would be realistic and be like, hey, you know what? We are building for the future. We have a good nucleus. We have a good defense. We have a good coach. Our offense needs help. Let's do addition by subtraction. This year might suck. But next year and the year after that, okay, let's go, baby. Then you look at the San Francisco 49ers. They're basically giving away Brandon Aiyuk to bring in Davante Adams. Yes, make that trade. 100% yes, make that trade. So really, if you guys think about this three-way trade offer, I truly think it makes every team better in the process. It truly makes every team better in this potential three-way trade. Pittsburgh Steelers adding a much-needed wide receiver to their team. Brandon Aiyuk is the glue in San Francisco. He makes Debo click. He makes CMC click. He makes Brock Purdy click, right? George Kittle gets open because Brandon Aiyuk runs a lot of routes where he gets banged up a lot. But you take away Brandon Aiyuk, you insert Davante Adams, two totally different receivers. But I still think it works. I still think they are a Super Bowl contending team with Davante Adams and Debo and George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and CMC, with already a pretty stout defense. Pittsburgh Steelers get a hell of a lot better. Super Bowl contending team. Las Vegas Raiders get worse this season, but 2025, 2026, okay. I see what's going on here. So, guys, let me ask this question. Does a three-way trade for Brandon Aiyuk to the Pittsburgh Steelers, does that make sense? Does that tickle your pickle? Put on your fandom hat. If you're a Steelers fan, let me hear you. If you're a Raiders fan, let me hear you. 49ers fan, let me hear you. Let's talk about it. Casey says, watch him go to the Pats since they cut Juju. Brandon Aiyuk said he already doesn't want to go to New England. Brandon Aiyuk said, nope, I'm not going to New England. I don't know what kind of leverage he has because he's on his rookie deal still. So, I mean, it's not like he doesn't have a no trade clause. Like, if the 49ers wanted to send him, they can send him anytime they would lie they want. But I think the 49ers are trying to keep him happy, right? They're trying to keep him happy and like, hey, do you want to go to New England? This is what they're offering you. They're going to give you your $30 million a year. They are going to give your 5 years and guaranteed money. They're going to give you this, but you're going to a bad team. Or you can stay here, make $20 million, and win a Super Bowl ring. But Brandon Aiyuk doesn't want to go to New England. James says, do you think Barry could do like what he did with Watson and Aiyuk? Who is Barry? I'm not following what you're asking, James. So ask it again, and I'll definitely answer for you, but I'm not for sure what you're asking. Chuck says the Cowboys wasted picks on Lance like he wasted a position before the season put him on the trade market. I believe the 49ers wasted picks on Trey Lance to move up. I believe they gave 2 first-round draft picks to move up 2 spots to get Trey Lance. The Dallas Cowboys traded for Trey Lance for what, a 5th-round pick, 4th-round pick. So Chuck is a Cowboys hater, what it seems like to like me. But the 49ers are in a position to make a pretty good trade, I think. I don't know. James said, I've seen something similar, but instead it was Cortland Sutton for the Broncos to the 49ers. I mean, this is to hold up for the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, the Super Bowl or the San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl window is rapidly closing. We've talked about this several times. The Super Bowl window for the San Francisco 49ers is a year or 2. They need to win right now. Brock Purdy is getting ready to get lots and lots of money. Dak Prescott will probably break the $60 million a year mark. Let's just be honest. Brock Purdy will probably break that $65 million a year contract. At that point, you can't play CMC anymore. You can't pay Debo anymore. You can't pay Kittle. You have to cut somewhere. That is why they let Eric Armstead walk, right? That is why they asked their fullback, Jesuit, is that how you say his name? They asked him to take a pay cut, which he did. They know the writing is on the wall. The 49ers know that at some point they are not going to be able to afford anybody. So if you bring in a player like Cortland Sutton, he has not done a hell of a lot in Denver. Let's just be honest. He's had big upside. Every time you look at him, you're like, okay, this is the year. This is the year. They just haven't done very good, and it's very, very discouraging if I was a Broncos fan. But if I am the 49ers, I don't take that Cortland Sutton trade. If I'm trading for Brandon Aiyuk, I want Davante Adams. How about this? CeeDee Lamb. Right? The 49ers took Brandon Aiyuk over CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Aiyuk were in the same draft, right? What if they switched spots for a couple draft picks? Wouldn't that be something? Casey says, wouldn't the Steelers just trade Adams versus trading for another team? Adams receiving Aiyuk. So that would make sense to me, right? If the Pittsburgh Steelers want a receiver, why not just go get Davante Adams for those 2 picks? I could see that, right? But Davante Adams is more of a down the field threat, right? Davante Adams is more stretch it out. I'm going to go get the ball. Brandon Aiyuk is a jack of all trades. You can see him running deep. You can see him running over the middle, screen game, yada, yada, yada. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't need a receiver like that. They have George Pickens. That is their guy. When you are trading for Brandon Aiyuk, you are not trading for a number 1 receiver. You're trading for a number 2 receiver. If you trade for Davante Adams, he is your number 1 receiver then by default, and George Pickens becomes your number 2. And I don't think Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers want that to happen. I think they want George Pickens to be their guy. I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying, Casey, but at the same time, Aiyuk to the Steelers gets me more excited than Davante Adams to the Steelers. And I'm not for sure if the Las Vegas Raiders would want to send Davante Adams to another AFC team, right? They want to get him out of the conference so they have a chance to make the Super Bowl. Chuck says the Steelers already stacked. Why they get 10 to 15 players in the offseason with some teams like the Browns and Broncos just dumping stars, adding back minimum players. So the Steelers added 3 guys this offseason, right? They added Patrick Queen. They added was it Bean and Bishop or something like that? And of course they added Russell and Justin, right? But really the Steelers only added 2 or 3 really big names. So I'm not for sure why I don't know. Not sure what you're asking there, but Casey says Raiders competing with the Chargers for last in that division. They best be happy there. This year, yes. This year, the Raiders are competing for last place. Sorry, Jim. Sorry, John. That's just the way it is. They are competing for last place. That's why you get 2 first round draft picks from the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025 and 2026. Let's say you package those 2 picks. The Patriots are going to be bad. The Carolina Panthers are going to be extra bad. Hey, Carolina Panthers, I know we're sitting at 11 in like this year's draft pick, and you guys are sitting at number 1, and you guys have failed to get a number 1 draft pick right since Bryce Young. Why don't we give you 2025 and 2026 draft picks? Let us move up to the number 1 spot, and we draft our quarterback for the future, and we turn this whole franchise around. As a Chiefs fan, I am worried about the Las Vegas Raiders if this trade were to happen. If this trade happens, the Pittsburgh Steelers give 2 first-round draft picks to the Las Vegas Raiders, 2025 and 2026, I am worried about that. They could potentially draft well and be good. What medium player did the Browns add? Justin Hicks. That was a good signing, says James. I think there's more upside in Judy than any negatives. We're not dumping anybody. Yeah, I'm not for sure where Chuck is saying that the Browns and Cowboys have just been crap this offseason. Yes, the Cowboys did not make a lot of moves, but they didn't have a lot of holes to fill either. The Browns got a hell of a lot better by adding Jerry Jeudy. James says, I don't think there's any way that Adam says no to going to the 49ers. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. The only way I would see him saying potentially no is if somewhere out of left field, the judge like, hey, Las Vegas, we'll give you a couple draft picks for Devontae. That's the only way I could see it. I can only see it. In all honesty, Raiders, if they want to go all the way, they should next year tank the first-round draft pick, get those draft picks, and send Adams to the 49ers. Exactly. James says, I'll take Aiyuk over Pickens any day. I think George Pickens and Brandon Aiyuk would be a Debo Aiyuk like marriage. I think they would what's the word I'm looking for? Accent each other perfect. I think they would definitely very, 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 very well. Chuck says, what has Watson done for the Browns? That was Flacco's and 4 other quarterbacks. Listen, we talked about Deshaun Watson, Chuck, all last week, all two weeks ago. He is much of a bust in Cleveland. He is overrated. He is overpaid. He has not done shit since 2020. Granted, he did not play 2021. In 2022, he played 6 games. In 2026 or 2023, he played six games. He's played 12 total games for the Cleveland Browns, and I think he's like 40th in passing rating and all that other stuff. Watson has been a bust for the Browns. Let's just be honest. The Browns missed on this one. That's why they got Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, if you guys have not seen his interview from yesterday, go to YouTube and look it up. This man kind of got me excited. Casey says, deep down, I want to see CeeDee or Aiyuk in the Chiefs, red and gold. 100%. As a Chiefs fan myself, Casey, I would love to see the Chiefs get a big name receiver, but at the same time, they don't need it. The Kansas City Chiefs have a great system in Arrowhead. They have the perfect balance of we don't know who our number one guy is, and that's why they're so dangerous. That's why the Kansas City Chiefs ultimately won the Super Bowl last season. Not only was their defense great, but they never had that number one receiver, so you never knew who you had to guard when the time got tough. Rashid Rice did kind of separate himself from the rest of the pack toward the end of the season, but that's kind of what made them dangerous because you didn't know who was going to be their guy. 49ers will never send a receiver to us. We made them cry twice. Maybe that would be the 3-way trade. I don't know. Wouldn't that be something the Chiefs send the Raiders 2 first-round draft picks? It ended up being some stud-ass quarterback, and the Raiders run the Chiefs with that quarterback for the next 10 years. James says, Casey, I've been wanting Aiyuk on the Browns the past 3 years. I hate that he possibly ends up in Pittsburgh. Wouldn't that be something, right? Wouldn't that be something? Oh, here we go again, Chuck. He says, Cowboys dumped Gallup, Pollard, 55 on defense, on cheap shit, brought back Zeke, no apology. Who was willing to take less before you dumped him 2 rushing champs like, bye, Felicia? Chuck, it's business. It's business, Chuck. If you are not producing, I am going to find somebody that will. And if I can't find somebody that will, I will cut you and then go out and actively search for somebody else that like will. It's all business, Chuck. You are dogging the Dallas Cowboys for the wrong reason, Chuck. And I understand what you're doing. I understand what you're doing. I get it. Get those Dallas Cowboys fans fired up. Get them up. But your point is not valid, Chuck. It is all business. When Derrick Henry finally comes to the ledge and starts to fall off that cliff, and the Baltimore Ravens cut him in 2-3 years, whatever it is. Hell, it could be this year. When Derrick Henry gets cut because he's fallen off the cliff, are you going to say the same thing about the Falcons? Or are you going to say the same thing about the Titans? Oh, the Titans are cheap because they didn't want to pay Derrick Henry. They just said, get out of here. Where's that same energy with the Tennessee Titans? Isn't Derrick Henry a 3-time rushing champ? Come on, slow it down, baby. Come on, Chuck. Cowboys are rebuilding, says Casey, without saying they are rebuilding. They're going to let CeeDee go and let Dak go. Who's ready to see Dak be a Bronco or a Raider? Or even a Viking? Whoa! Casey, slow it down, baby. Dak is not becoming a Minnesota Viking. If that were to happen, it would have happened last season. But Dak Prescott will no longer be a Dallas Cowboy at the end of this season. He will end up in Las Vegas because the Las Vegas Raiders like to overpay for people. Let's just be honest. Or he's going to end up with a team in like Seattle. Geno Smith is kind of nearing his end of his career. He's going to get banged up a little bit. He's been a nice mediocre quarterback, nice average, right? He had a nice little peak, but he's going to come back down. He's going to come back down. Dak to the Seahawks would not surprise me one bit. Chuck said Pollard had to be brotherly shoved over 1,000 yards in 16 games. You average 50 yards a game. Tony Pollard was never a number one back. So let's talk about Zeke and Tony Pollard here, Chuck. Zeke and Tony Pollard, when they were together, they were arguably the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. They were the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. Zeke even had a down year that particular year. He was down, right? Tony Pollard broke his leg in that playoff game. Had no offseason work, very little preseason work, came into being the number one running back after Zeke went to New England with a very little offseason workout, coming off of a broken leg, out of shape, right? You have no offseason workout, no preseason, out of shape. You're used to being a 1-2 punch guy, and then all of a sudden, you are the number one guy, and you have to do it all? I mean, and yes, I understand I don't think he even broke 1,000 yards, to be honest. I thought it was more like 800 yards. Really, a running back in the NFL, that's pretty good yardage nowadays because most people have two-back system. There's only, 2 teams out there that don't have a two-back system? One of them being the San Francisco 49ers, which they're probably going to have a two-back system now since CMC is, taking a payload cut, right? And Saquon Barkley for the Eagles. Yet to be determined if they'll do a two-back system. But really 1,000 yards for a running back is about average now. Dak has already come out saying he's not about the money. He is not about the money, but I'm not about the money either. But if somebody at a competitive job that I have offers me 30% more pay for doing the same amount of work that I'm doing, see ya. Come on. Dak ends up in Cleveland? Can they afford that? I mean, I know it's just money at the end of the day. They figure it out somehow, some way. They kick the can down the road. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Nice, solid defense. Dak back with Amari Cooper. What? Well, I guess Amari Cooper's on his last year of his deal, right? I don't know. Interesting fit. Douglas says Dak to Browns next year. Really, though, guys? Really? Dak Prescott to the Browns next season? Now, Deshaun Watson signed a 5-year deal, right? In 2021, wasn't it? Maybe in 2022. Because he was suspended all of 2021. So does that count as his... So let's just say he has 2 years left on his deal. He's already got his guaranteed money. So I don't think if he were to get cut and or traded that affects the dead cap hit. Does Dak Prescott to the Cleveland Browns make sense? Does that make them sexy? Does that make them a Super Bowl contending team? I mean, the defense alone makes them a playoff team. You have Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper. Maybe Amari Cooper can come back. Amari Cooper has said he wants to stay a Cleveland Brown. Oh, man. Guys, the more I think about it, that kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. I mean, they overpay for Deshaun Watson, so why not overpay for Dak too, right? I don't know. But guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, I was off the last 2 days for sickness, but I shouldn't miss any more time. I'm feeling a lot better. We are live and we are raw. We are uncut. Every Monday through Friday right here at Facebook.com and of course YouTube.com. Join us on Monday. But if you are a pigskin pundit, like my man Casey right here, and John and Jim and Patrick, for all you pigskin pundits out there, we will be streaming the Kansas City Chiefs versus Jacksonville Jaguars game on Saturday right here at Facebook.com. So if you are a pigskin pundit, 7 p.m. East Coast time, tune in and you can watch your Kansas City Chiefs take on the Jacksonville Jaguars because that's what Casey wants. Casey says, but I'm going to be out camping. I won't have my computer. I won't have my TV. Can you stream the Chiefs game for me? I got you, man. I got you. But until then, guys, we out. See you next time.